In this video, we will explore the pose downward facing dog through the lens of Katonah yoga. And just like in real life, there are lots of types of dogs. In yoga, there are also lots of types of dogs, and this is just one way of looking at it. But I want Luna, before she goes away, to demonstrate a downward dog, because in this approach, we're really trying to embody the archetype of a dog. So Luna, down dog. Good girl, so good. Oh, and then she's doing her upward dog. Nice, good girl. Okay, so you notice Luna, her hips were really, really high. She had a beautiful slope to her spine, and she was looking forward and not dropping her head. So we'll get into more of that later, but that's basically what we're going for in this downward facing dog. This approach gives you a lot of access to space in your body, and it also really shows you how, by harnessing the power of your foundation, your pelvis, your hips, your legs, your feet, you can really find expanse and capacity and volume and potential in your upper body, all the way from your pubis through your vision. So that's what we're going to play with today. And we'll start by really measuring up a good frame for our arms in tabletop position. So you can come forward into a tabletop and do your best to get your shoulders right over your wrists so you have a right angle in your wrists. And we're going to measure up shoulder width distance with the hands by spinning on the heels of the hands inward so that the tips of the middle fingers can lightly touch. And then from here you simply spin the heels of the hands back out, point the middle finger forward, and then you have your hands shoulder width distance apart. So you can see from the front of me a nice frame of wrist, wrist, elbow, elbow, shoulder, shoulder. So setting up this with strong geometry, a nice steady frame, and then from here we'll come into downward facing dog. So you'll find that position, tuck your toes, lift your hips, come into your just first downward dog. How you typically get into it, you can pedal out, you can wiggle the hips side to side. And then just to make sure that you're in a 60-degree triangle, which is the measurement of strength, structure, and stability, you're going to come forward into a plank. And then in this plank, I'm a little short because my front body is really crunched. I kind of feel stuck between my hands and my feet. So I'm going to wiggle my feet back a little bit so that my heels are right above the balls of my feet. I'm going to take my vision forward, spread my collarbones from side to side. And then from here, I'll bend the knees generously, lift my hips up and back, and come into a downward facing dog. I'll then measure out hip width distance apart by spinning one heel to the opposite big toe, and then doing it on the other side just for good measure. And then I'll really come into my pose. So in this technique, you always want to have a little or big bend in your knees so that you can have access to a deeper fold of the hip at the front and a bigger reach up through your seat so that you're really creating a big, obvious apex for your triangle. By bending the knees, I also unlock the power of the arches and balls of my feet. I unlock my low back, and I give myself the potential to really move forward and out of my own stability while staying grounded. So with bent knees, think that from the back of your knee on both sides, you can go down through the heels. Think from the back of the knee on both sides, you can go up through your seat. This will give you that deep, deep fold of your hips so that you can then, from the balls of the feet, think that you're back bending from the pubis, navel, sternum, chin, nose, and eyes coming slightly forward so that your vision's going out in front of you. Your ears are in line with your arms, and your arms are in line with your ears, and you're really, really in your legs with a big crescendo coming out of the pelvis, through the spine, toward the space in front of you. You can then refine this by thinking that the armpits turn into the heart. From the center of each armpit, you can reach up through your seat. From the center of your armpit, you can go down through the hands into the knuckle of each finger. And this isn't about dumping into the shoulders or splaying in your middle. It's really about harnessing the power of your legs to then move out and forward into the space in front of you. And then you have this down dog that is incredibly powerful and energetic. There's lots of currency moving through your form. And it's very future oriented, because another big part of this technique is the metaphor of the space behind you and your actual back body being calcified past or memory or reflection. And the space in front of you, or the soft front of your body, being the future, being your potential. So it's really about how you use your stability, how you use what is behind you to reflect on it and to move you forward into your potential and into the future, which also is just such a lovely metaphor that brings a lot more meaning and magic to this pose. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have fun exploring it, and namaste.